Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, hello.
Hi. How are you, Trinsetta? How's
I
life?
Life is good. How are you, Ruth?
Everything is amazing. Like I was sharing with you earlier, just navigating through whenever something tilts over on your schedule, you just don't just fall off. You got to keep it moving, keep it keep it trucking, right?
Where they say
Well,
where there's a will, there's a way.
and indeed it is.
Yeah.
Indeed it is, my friends. Welcome, everybody. Go ahead and let us know where you're calling from, where you're tuning in at. It's Friday, and
Friday.
it sure is. It's Friday, and
Let me
it's
go
so
ahead and share this.
it's so many things to be grateful for. Absolutely. Let everybody know where you are calling from, where you're tuning in. I am here in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. As you can see, it's pretty bright and sunny where I'm at. I look. I love you, snowbirds. I wish I can perhaps share some of this sunniness to you. I mean, I don't even know what the weather is out in the Northeast. It could very well be serving them a good a sunny day, maybe with a jacket. Who knows? All right. So if you all have been following us, we are now in episode 6. And if you missed the other ones, you must go back, and it gives you an opportunity to just catch up with us, right? So I have here myself, Ruth Mack, for those who may not know me, if you're first time chiming in. I am a career strategy partner. I've taken mid-level professionals who are looking to stand out as a top talent so we can start attracting those ideal companies their way in as little as 48 hours. Yes? How about you, Trisetta? Let them know what's your background and what you do these days to help impact lives.
Yeah, so I'm Coach Tracetta. I am a life balance coach and productivity consultant. My background is in operations management. I also have a degree in social work, and I kind of combine those things together so that I can meet my clients where they are and help them create the systems and processes that they need to be
Mm.
successful in life and in business. I'm
Yes, yes,
excited
yes, yes.
to have this conversation today because
Yes,
we
this
got
is
a
the right
juicy
time
topic.
too. Yes, this is the perfect time, and because here's the truth: breaking boundaries. Our topic for today, just to kind of bring you all up to speed, and yes, go ahead and share and grab a few, 3 or 4 of your friends, your peers, because they're going to want to go ahead and tune in as well. We don't want them to be left out. So, what we're going to dive in is, are you in a position right now where you're finding yourself being stuck in certain rules? I want you to ask yourself, are you ready to create new rules? Go ahead and put one in the comment. Let me know that, you know what, Ruth, you're right. You don't have to wait to 2023. Let's go ahead and triumph and just trailblaze the remaining part of 2022 by shifting the rules. Shifting the
Yeah.
rules. What
Every
do you
day
think?
is a new beginning, right? We get an opportunity. Like any day can be your new year.
Come on, say that again, because I think that right there serves to be parked for a little bit.
Yes. Every day can be your new year. You don't have to wait for a specific date on a calendar to make some shifts, to make some changes, to create some new rules for your life so that you can have the life, the career, the business, the relationship, all the things that you really desire.
Yes.
Um, you can create that at any time. All it takes is making a different decision.
It does, and it's a discipline too. And then
It
it's
is.
also unleashing certain habits. Go ahead and let us know if you can relate with this story that I'm going to share with you. Whereas for me, I had to make a decision. I used to be, and you all can maybe relate. I used to have a fear of the dark. I used to be very fearful of the dark. You couldn't, girl. I would have to sleep with the light on, and all the way till I was 29 years old. I don't want to tell my age now. I'm only about 32, right?
I'm 42 too, girl.
And so I'm going somewhere with this. I promise you I am. And, I truly believe, even my husband told me, Ruth, I believe you're my assignment. And it took me a while to receive that, because we met each other. We've been married now for about almost 13 years. And after I evolved and ever changed, because you got to understand that you're going to continuously find yourself evolving. And back to why I was fearful of the dark. I don't know. I felt a sense of I was never alone. Like someone's watching my back. It was just, girl. It was crazy. And my husband said that's going to stop today. And it was right in our courtingship of our relationship. We had to been maybe together. I don't know. At that time, it had to been like just under a year. Let's just put it that way. And he was like, it's going to stop today. You're no longer going to be fearful of the dark. I literally was petrified. Who can relate? Who can put in the chat room that And then that was certain conditions and certain rules that I planted in my own head. And it could very well have been stemmed from other incidents and other indications in my life story and my journey. But I had to make a decision, and I said, "You're right. I don't want to longer be fearful of the dark. You're right. I don't want to." So I made a decision and said, "Yes, I want to change. I'm going to make a new rule. I'm going to embrace the darkness. I'm going to hug the darkness at night. I'm going to watch that moon glaze through my window and say, you're welcome. I'm not going to keep kicking you out. You're welcome, because it's part of what? It's part of our physical reality. For some reason, I felt that you would think it would only be at an age of 9 or 7. It was all the way through my teenage years, even in my mid 20s and even late 20s. He made a decision. We sat there and we started just praying. He opened all the windows in the house, and it was just a glorifying day. I said, wow. So imagine ask yourself, when are you going to go ahead and open all the windows inside of your mindset and
That's good.
cause a reaction to go ahead and disrupt your pattern and say, you know what, new rules. I'm not going to go ahead and hold on to certain rules that is not serving me. Are you ready to go ahead and make a change to the rules that you've been abiding to for maybe perhaps 5, 10, 15, or practically all your life? Maybe like similar to my story, where it took me 29 years to set myself a rule of darkness. How about you, Trisetta? What can you ad lib to what I just had? Is this resonate with anybody? Let me know by putting a comment, putting one in the comments if this is helpful.
You immediately, so you were talking about your fear of the dark. You immediately took me to, for a long time, well, I thought that I had a fear of heights. That's what I thought. I thought it was a fear of heights. And our coach, April Franks, we were in Jamaica standing on she had the penthouse suite, and we're standing on the balcony, leaning on the ledge, looking out at the ocean.
Right.
And I was telling her that I used to be afraid of heights. And she says, were you really afraid of heights, or were you afraid of falling? And so she just brought a completely different perspective to how I even looked at it. But at that point, I had already overcome it. But let me tell you what happened.
Yes.
To help me overcome that fear, I made a decision, just like you were saying, your husband, your now husband, made a decision that you were no longer going to be able to be gripped by the fear of the dark. I made a decision to face it, right? Because that's what it comes down to, being willing to face the thing that causes the fear and the anxiety and all of those negative emotions that well up in you.
Come through. Yes.
But the thing that provoked me to face the fear was being diagnosed with breast cancer. And I knew that I had a very long and challenging journey ahead of me. And I knew that I needed to do something to increase my faith. I needed to do something to make me feel like I could overcome anything. And so I started racking my brain. I was like, what could I do to really give myself that boost? I was like, if I can face my fear of heights, then I know that I can get through this situation. So I went ziplining.
Stop it. Was that your first time going?
It was my first time.
Yes.
I went ziplining. And the place here in Tallahassee, the Tallahassee Museum, it's an obstacle course. And so there's 2 actual like zips in the course, but it's way up in the, like 50 feet up in the trees, and you're, going across all these different things. And that's a whole we'll have to talk about the lessons that I learned through that experience because that's a whole nother topic. But I went through the course, and I went by myself. It was my 41st birthday. I made a decision that that's what I wanted to do. And nobody wanted to go with me, which was perfect because no one could go through the journey that I was getting ready to go through. They could go alongside, but they couldn't go with.
Who can relate with what Trisetta just shared? Go ahead and put a 5 in the comments that you are not alone, Trisetta.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. Share the tea. Definitely share the story.
So I decided, I was like, I can do this. And I was, my knees were knocking. I'm not going to lie. I'm up there high up in the trees and knees knocking. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And the lady in front of me, there's one little spot in the obstacle course where you can jump off, where you can actually get off of the course. That's the only spot. Once you pass that, you don't have any choice.
How far up is that? Obviously you're not far yet. You must be somewhere where you can just turn around and go down.
No. There's a ladder. You're
Okay,
up in
okay,
the
got it.
you're up pretty high. But there's a ladder for you to go down. And she made a decision to hop off of the course. And I seriously considered following behind her.
What made you not go forward? What made you say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just yield in some more? Why didn't you follow the other lady that decided not to?
Something in me, and we all, if you're a follower of Christ, you already know what that is, but something on the inside of me said you cannot quit, that you could do this.
Mm.
And I think the thing that we really need to understand, and we're kind of kind of going in another direction, but I think the thing that we really need to understand is that you can't wait for the fear to go away.
Ooh, stop right there.
You can't wait for the fear to go away.
Who's
You
waiting
have
for
to
the
do
fear
it
to go
here.
away? Because I was the one that was thinking it was one day I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be all right. The darkness is gonna be my friend. I'm gonna look at this energy as my friend, but
No,
I
you
had to
go
tackle it.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You go, and that's what courage is. Courage is, and bravery is, feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
If I had, I wish they had badges over here. I would give you a badge my own self.
Let me sip. I would say let me sip my tea, but this is coffee, so
I love it. I love it. I want you to ask yourself this question as you are listening to us embark with you on our journey, because we're not perfect.
no.
We bleed just as you all do, right? You know, you want to be able to just say, okay, let me go ahead and take a full deposit of where I'm at today, and what exactly is the rules that's putting me in a chamber where I believe I've lost my power. Isn't it time for you to take your power back?
Yeah.
You know, and how do you do that, Ruth? Well, you do that by going ahead and taking full deposit, take full stock as to where you are. Embrace it. Don't stay in the past. Don't stay in those different type of rules that you may have been grown up to, or it's part of maybe your environment or perhaps your circle. But I'm not talking about those rules. I'm talking about the rules that you can shift, that you can bend, and to make it to where it now sees you as your true self.
Yeah.
Ooh, right?
That's good. That's really good. I actually have we've all heard the term like fear, the acronym of fear of false evidence appearing real. I have my own acronym for it, and it actually stands for, it's not like a phrase, but it's face it, embrace it, assess it, and release it.
Release it. I think that's the part that people get hung up on.
Hmm.
I know I can speak for self. I no longer live in that state of mind where I have to just sit there and not just allow it to be released. And how do you release it? I know you're probably saying, well, Ruth, how do we take where do we shift the opposite of bringing courage to go ahead and bamboozle fear? How do you like Trisetta just said, you have to face it head on. And certain activities you can do, like for me, I literally had to sit in a dark area, put all the windows up, and I did this exercise with my husband, Brian. Well, at the time we were just courting, he was my boyfriend, and I was sweating bullets as though it was not. And I had to realize, he said, look, no one's here but you and I. Open your eyes, look, embrace it. I had to say affirmations and prayers, and girl, you want to ask yourself, what do I need to call out? And some people may think that affirmations don't work. I believe it works. I
Absolutely.
believe in even allowing that to even play while you're asleep, while you wake up in the morning, maybe perhaps put some sticky notes in your vanity. But I am a firm believer of affirmations. Those are power statements, I like to call them.
Yeah, I definitely, our words have power, and I alluded earlier that being a woman of faith, the Bible talks about how death and life are in our tongue, and there's a fruit to
Yes.
everything that we say. Where we get tripped up is we say things, and because it doesn't happen right away, we think that they're not that our words aren't doing anything, that they're not creating anything. But just like, think about, let's go to farming. If you sow a seed in the ground, you don't go later that day and expect a harvest off of that seed. And
Wow. Come on.
our words are like seeds, right? So we plant them and we water them by continuing to say the same thing over and over again. Oh, I'll never get that promotion. I'll never get that job.
Right.
I'm
Right.
always overlooked.
Hmm.
And by say every time we say that, we're watering it. We're watering the seed, watering the seed, watering the seed until eventually, like that's what we get because we've spoken it for so long. We have to be intentional with the words that we're sowing into our life. And it you can't just say one time, say an affirmation one time and expect it to override all the negative things that you've spoken for months, years, for even a lifetime. You've got to pluck up, uproot all that old stuff and sow new things. So the things that you really desire. So if you don't like what you currently have, review the things that you say on a regular basis.
I could agree with you 100%. Tony Robbins said it best. You have to know how to endure through the pain. You know, I had to endure through the pain. You had to do it. How many of you all are fearful in enduring through the pain, in shifting those rules, making new rules? Like, oh,
Yeah.
what if I do start this new rule, and maybe perhaps deciding to get a promotion so you can have the life that you're truly desiring. And now you're starting to tweak your resume and then start planting your seed by going and applying. And in the back of your head, well, what if I go ahead and update my LinkedIn and put open to work? And then that fear, that perception that you're rooting in your head, again, you're watering that seed, right? You're watering it thinking that, oh, what if I'm looked upon? Well, what if I get fired because my man? Stop. Do the opposite. Yes, there's a negative and a positive to every form that we live in. What did it call it? The polarity look of it. Yes, there's a positive and a negative, but you want to ask yourself, how am I going to look at this situation in a way where it's going to now work in my favor? It's going to
Yeah.
work in my good. Start looking at those applications, start looking at your career, and shift that. I'm making a decision because this is the life I desire, this is the life that I want to have. I like the abundance that is, I'm looking in my head when you close your eyes at night or in the morning and you start envisioning yourself in this place, and then now you open your eyes, you want to be able to see it in your reality. Who can relate? Go ahead and put a one in the comments that you definitely want to take what you have been imagining, maybe getting that move forward into your career so that you can go ahead and put that down payment in your forever dream home in 2023. But you got to make that decision, whether it be getting some support and balancing your life here with Trisetta, getting it all your ducks in a row and being strategically clear, because you need a roadmap. You need to be crystal clear as to maybe what that looks like in changing making new rules. What are
Yeah.
those new rules planning look like? If you can't do it alone, even if it's not with me or perhaps Trisetta or both, you got to make a decision as to what's the gap, what's truly in the way. How do you want to shift that needle forward? You have to decide now. We'll leave messages in the inside of our live here today on how to stay in contact and how to stay connected. And let us know if this is helping you. Is this is resonating with you? Is this now making you decide that you now want to go ahead and take a new leaf before 2023 comes in? Are you ready?
I know I'm ready. You know, I kind of want to, because we did take a little bit of a detour. I kind of want to
Yeah.
go back a little bit and let's talk about maybe give an example, Ruth, of maybe an old rule that someone might have as it relates to building their career or trying to get promoted and how they could shift that into a new rule.
So it's a beautiful example. I have these conversations quite often with many, many people. And one of the rules, most importantly, is thinking that my education, well, I don't have the proper education. I don't have my degrees. I may just have my associate and I'm working towards it. But in their mind, they're thinking they're not going to move forward because the rule tells them in their head that they need to have a bachelor's. Their education has to be aligned. Who told you that? Well, I saw it on the job description. The job description says preferred, or maybe perhaps it says required. But here's the truth: people connect with people, regardless of your education, regardless of your work experience. If you have a skill and you know you're really, really great at it, and you know that that skill is going to go ahead and take that company, take that department to be able to save time and money, that's what's going to go ahead and move you forward in that promotion. So how you change that rule? By not thinking that your education is a block, is a limitation. Taking that new rule by now saying, this is what I do have, this is what I'm really great at, and I'm going to hone in and harvest on that. You
I
with me?
love
Is that
that.
making sense? Yes.
Absolutely. That's a really great example. Two things I want to kind of expound on. One, where we are right now, the atmosphere or culture of the workplace, the workforce right now is traditional education does not have the clout that it once had.
Run through does not have the clout. Describe the clout in what you're how it's being demonstrated in your head right now when you said that.
So there was a time where very few people had college degrees. And so that was kind of a way to really separate those people who might have been more qualified for positions. But because of the technological advances that we've had, there's a lot of the jobs that we have now don't really require that really specific um, education
Not
that you
unless if
get
you're maybe
out of
being,
college.
going in medical field, like
Right.
becoming a doctor. Though we're few
Doctor,
states and states are
lawyer,
talking about that. Right,
accountant, like there's certain
right.
things that, yeah, or engineer, like there's certain things you absolutely need that degree for because you need highly specific education in order to do the job. But the majority of the jobs in the workplace don't require that. You can have any degree, any type of background. It really goes to your skill set. So which plays into what you were just talking about, Ruth, and how focusing on, like, okay, well, maybe I don't have the degree, but I definitely have the skill set. And the second point that I want to bring up is what you focus on expands. So
I
if
like
you
that.
are focused solely on the fact that you don't have a specific degree, or maybe you don't have a specific certification, or whatever the case may be, then you're looking at things through a negative lens. But you want to shift that to focus on, well, what do I have to offer, and position yourself that way, because the majority of people, very rarely does the candidate that gets hired for a job have tick every single box on the job description
You're
or the
spot
job.
on. I agree. And in studies shows that, they're not
Right,
anticipating. They have it there. That's their wish list. Look at it as their elf wish list, because we're in the season. Might as well say it
right,
that
right.
way. You're not anticipating a checkbox and have everything that your child have on the list. And if you do, well, that's a whole different story. But
Right.
but you want to be very strategic to know that the hiring team and the talent acquisition partners, that's their goal. That's their anticipation. But that's not going to say it's going to be a deal breaker. And
Right.
that's the part we're looking to kind of have you cement inside of your head to really be fully concrete in. So go ahead.
Right. Absolutely. And on top of that, now Ruth brought up just earlier about the connection, right? You need to be able to connect with people. The majority of jobs, and I don't remember the specific statistic because it's been a while since I did this talk. But I'm always researching statistics, y'all. I'm a big old fat nerd. And But I did run across the statistic, and I want to say it's somewhere between 70 and 80% of jobs
Mhm.
are gotten through relationship.
It's 70%. Yeah,
So, okay.
it is. It's still
Okay. I
70%.
figured you would know. I figured you would
Um,
know because that's your, but yeah, matter of fact, um, the jobs that contracts that I've gotten in my business, and my last job that I had for with Florida State University, I got that through relationship, through connection, not
Absolutely.
because I went and applied cold for a job. It's because of a relationship that I had.
It goes back to what I just said. People connect with
Mhm.
people.
Right.
Build that foundation. Who do I know that's in my current, these are things that I discuss with my premium community clients, as to how does that look, because a lot of them are introverts. Who's an introvert here? That,
I'm an ambivert.
I'm not comfortable to, someone, is that even normal? We live in a day and an age where you got to come out of that comfort zone to help break that icebreaker, to warm yourself up to having a human conversation and
Yeah.
sharing what are you looking to do, and how to learn more from someone else. I was speaking with someone earlier yesterday, and they was explaining, and when it comes to networking, and this person, this leader was where he wanted to be, and he said he did everything to sit and say, hey, whatever help you need, whatever support you may need, I'm there for you. And then he admired that, the mentor admired that in him, his tenacity, his 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 energy of wealth, to wanting to embark and learn and feed his wisdom some more knowledge, feed his wisdom some more. Here's the truth: I don't know everything, and I'm not going to want to be the one to tell you that I'm a leader that knows everything. That's not true. I rather claim that I don't know anything, because I'm always on the pursuit to learning. And I
Mhm.
talked about that earlier. So my point is, he did that and plant the seed to where now he's in a very great stabilized position. He's making about seven figures, and in his career, and now he's paying it forward to help those who seek his guidance. What are you doing in order to shift the rules and make new rules as to what's going to better serve you? Are you connecting, like Trisetta just shared with you all? Are you building those inner circles? Go ahead and put it in the comments. Is this helpful? Is this resonating with you all? This is an amazing topic that you want to go ahead and stem even offline, and
Yeah.
saying, what are the rules that's holding you back? What are the rules that's holding me back? How do I shift it? Can I do it alone? Identify it first. At least
Right.
be the first to announce to yourself, and say, you know what? I am living on certain paradigms, and I'm looking to give myself the grace to shift those paradigms, right?
Yeah. That's so true. And um, what we believe dictates our thoughts, and our thoughts dictate our actions.
Oh, that's good.
So if you are, and that's really what it comes down to. We're talking about the rules. It's those things that we believe. It's your belief system, and sometimes what
Thank you
we,
for clarifying that. As
yeah,
far as what the rules are, I think that has helped serve quite a bit of 100 people that's going to be watching this and is already watching it. Thank you.
absolutely. And what we need to do is take a look at the things that we believe about ourselves and about our environment, or look at our perspectives on things and evaluate, because sometimes the beliefs that served us in our past season won't necessarily serve us in the new season of life and where we're wanting to go. It may have gotten us through some difficult seasons, especially, but now we need to evaluate that and say, well, first of all, is that still true? Because it may have been true 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but is
Right.
that still true now? Right. So, just like we were talking about the education piece earlier, it was true that, yeah, having a college degree was, you were pretty much guaranteed to be able to get a job as soon as you walked out of, as soon as you left college, if not beforehand. Now, that doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to get a job, or even a good pay. Maybe you can get a job, but maybe you're not going to get a good paying job. Right.
Right. Right. Hmm.
So we need to reevaluate what we believe and say, what's not really serving where we desire to go, and what type of mindset or belief do I need to hold in order for me to transition into this new place that I desire to go, whether it's a promotion or a different lifestyle, or maybe we want to enhance our relationship, right? It doesn't matter. Every single aspect of life, it starts with what we think or what we believe, and then what we think, and then that drives what we do.
I love it. I love it. We're going to close with that. And I want to leave it with you all because this has been a phenomenal episode. I want you all to embark on it. Thank you so much, Tracetta, for just sharing those opportunities for those to be able to shift and be able to create a new belief system that's going to serve them and be beneficial for them, not just for the now, but long term.
Absolutely.
And if you all are looking for ways to get additional support and guidance, hey, this is where we are. Go ahead and comment below that, hey, it's me. I definitely would love to get some additional support. Go ahead and leave a message or go ahead and reach out to us directly, and we'll personally reach out to you and see how we can make it a workout for you. All right. In the meantime, have an amazing Friday. Stay positive and continue to pursue to learning and thinking you knowing everything is not going to serve you. But then the pursuit to learn is going to strive to gain more wisdom and getting you to the pursuit of a happiness and joy. Take care, my friends. Talk to you all soon.
Bye for now.